everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Up next is a presentation on vegetation management using satellite analytics, brought to you by AI Dash as part of UA Summit 2021. As a reminder, we welcome your questions during this event. In order to submit your questions to today's speakers, simply type your question into the window on the right side of the screen. Today's session will be available on the UA Summit platform until May 31st. And with that, let me start by turning things over to Roel, CTO and founder of AI Dash, to get us started.
Yeah, thanks, Gina. Hi, everyone. So I am Rahul, CTO and co-founder at AI Dash. With me, I have Nitin, who's Chief AI Officer and co-founder at AI Dash. So today we are going to take a session around vegetation management using satellite analytics. So broad agenda to start with. So we'll start from the state of vegetation management today. Then we cover what are the latest satellite technologies which enable a solution for vegetation management. We then deep dive into the construct of how a satellite-driven vegetation management look like. With that as a background, we cover around how the AI Dash product, that is IVMS, Intelligent Vegetation Management System, looks like. And then we have some more slides, a more presentation around the technology and AI in action. So let me start with the state of vegetation management today to set the context. So as most of you are familiar with utilities, coming from the utility background. So today the vegetation management systems and most of the utilities are a bit archaic. Most of the stuff there is manual in terms of figuring out where to focus on from vegetation management perspective. Don't have really too much of a use of technology. It's a bit laggard there. It does take a lot of time because of these attributes. It's repetitive. There are a lot of consequences in terms of liabilities. It's very costly. So if you look at the current statistics, vegetation management is one of the largest line item. And in many large utilities, the budget may exceed, even $100 million. There's the current system is difficult to obtain insight, and it's inefficient, right? But at the same time, the business impact for vegetation management, it grows exponentially. When we say the assets for which the vegetation management needs to be done, that typically consist of transmission and distribution lines, a total of 6.7 million miles throughout just North America. Most of the utility funding, around 80 to 90%, are spent in vegetation management around distribution lines. In terms of liabilities, in 17 and 18 alone, there was a liability of $30 billion for a large California power utility, pushing it to brink of bankruptcy. The idea is if you do tree trim properly, you can actually reduce power outages quite significantly. So the business impact is really high. So with that, let's first deep dive into how satellites can help change the way electric utilities can predict, plan, and prioritize vegetation management. So let me hand over to Nitin to cover some of that part.
Thanks, Rahul. So in this section we'll basically discuss about the latest satellite technologies. Yeah, so there are various mode of acquiring various geospatial data. One is obviously the satellite, other is drone with LiDAR, other helicopter, automobile with LiDAR, and then there is a manual patrol. So if we talk in terms of the resolution, satellite provides a resolution of 12 inch or 30 centimeters. So any object of 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter can be seen in a satellite. Drone, helicopter, automobile provides a very high resolution satellite with very high resolution data. Perspective, if we talk about the perspective, each and every mode basically provide an overhead, except automobile, which provide oblique upward, and manual patrol, which also provide the oblique upward profile. Satellite has multiple bands. One is multispectral, having RGB and IR bands. We can acquire a mono image, a tri-stereo image. There's also a different kind of satellite called synthetic aperture, and hyperspectral band satellite, in which there are multiple 200, 300 continuous bands are there. In drone, we can basically add we can also add multiple bands in drone, LiDAR, as well as in helicopter and automobile, which is not applicable in manual patrol. Speed of data acquisition, that is a differentiating factor why satellite is differentiated from other. So we are using satellite to instantaneously capture the data, which is not very applicable in other mode. So if we talk about in drone, it is very slow to acquire the data. It is little bit fast than drone in helicopter, and the slow in automobile, and the slowest in the manual patrol. Geographic area, obviously satellite covers the entire planet. Drone is very localized to a specific area of interest. Helicopter somewhat bigger than the drone, and automobile is obviously a terrain-based, hilly terrain or a terrain where automobile can't capture the data. And the same is with the manual patrol. Regulatory approval, this is a good point. So for satellite, we don't require a regulatory approval, and for other mode of acquisition, drone, helicopter, we require a regulatory approval. Automobile and manual, we don't require. This is one of the most important point in which the availability of the historical data. Except satellite, no other mode provides the historical data availability. So if you want to acquire the historical data for the last couple of years, it is only and only available in satellite. Clearance detection, this is one of the problem we have solved. So we have used satellite imagery. Definitely, it can be solved through other data, other mode of data. And change detection, because the change detection requires a time series or a temporal data, which is only available in satellite. So no other data mode can be used for solving this change detection problem. Cost effective, satellite is very cost effective because in a single data or in a single image, it captures 100,000 square kilometers, as compared to drone and helicopter. If we want to basically capture the same area, so we have to have we have to done a lot of things in order to capture that much of it, and that basically leads to a lot of dollar is required to capture the same amount of area. So if we in this satellites in this sheet, we are basically looking at satellites, how satellites are improving both the resolution and revisit rates. So if we talk about the past, present, and the future satellite launched, so if we look at from in 2009 to 2018, only 2,298 satellites were launched, and the same in 2019 to 2028, there will be around 9,935 sites will get launched. So there will be definitely a 332% increase. So obviously, this is the right time to get into these satellite technologies. The satellite technology can we are using satellite technology to basically capture the vertical clearance as well as the horizontal clearance. So it is now possible with the satellite technology. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, satellite is having multispectral band. Multispectral bands means there are multiple type of bands are available: red, green, yellow, and then basically there is a red edge band, near infrared band, which we use along with our AI model to basically compute and solve the vegetation management problem. So I would like to emphasize on the reddish problem, which is very sensitive to the vegetation health, which is very sensitive to the chlorophyll content of the tree. So we used vegetation management using using reddish and the historical data. We are able to estimate the health of the vegetation, whether it is healthy or going to be tendered in next few months. So using horizontal historical satellite images and reddish band, we can tell it in advance when the tree is going to be tendered, so that we can take appropriate action in advance. So in this slide, this is how the satellite resolution basically improves over time. So there are two images. One is of 1978 for a given area of interest. Another is basically 2018. So if you look at the gray image, in this image, it is very poor. It is of very poor resolution, in which it is very hard to basically recognize any object. But in the 2018 images, that's obviously a colored image, in which we can recognize the boundary of the farms, whether it's a green farm or a brown farm. So that is basically the transition of the resolution from lowest to high resolution images. And if we compare it, so the top one is basically the 1978 80 meter pixel resolution, in which it is very, very difficult to identify any object, identify any boundary. But if you look at the same area in 2018 30 centimeter pixel image, we can easily identify what all objects are there. We can easily identify the boundary of each of the object. So that is basically the transition of the resolution from 1978 to 2018. And this resolution basically leads to the building of AI model, in which we need to process large amount of data and extract various useful information out of that. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, along with an optical imagery, we also have a synthetic aperture technology. So in this technology, a radio waves has been sent towards the Earth and basically capture the reflected beam. So the good thing about this SAR technology is basically it can work in day and night, and it can penetrate through cloud, and it can penetrate through ice and all those things. And there are various bands available, which is typically used for multiple applications.
Yeah, thanks, Nitin. So with the context set around the vegetation management situation today, and what can satellites do? So let me deep dive a bit around what does a satellite-driven vegetation management solution look like. So essentially, at AI Dash, this is how the overall workflow looks like. So we have a platform which combines all these different spatiotemporal images from satellite, all these different bands, which are high resolution, multispectral, SAR, and all that. We combine that with the data provided by utilities, the enterprise data, which might be relevant for the models, and combining all these key data types, run our different kind of AI models. We have models around encroachment detection, change detection, prioritization, DEMs, and all these different models. So once these models are run in terms of the business rules, so essentially we are combining the ground truth on what we are seeing on the actual data with satellite imagery, running all these models, and what we get is this whole workflow, which enables the end users to figure out what to do, where to do, when to do, how to do. So the model basically comes up with a suggestion of which tasks you should be looking at. You can define business role around how to prioritize these. Once the prioritization is done, and it is in accordance with the budget or the plan you have for that quarter, for that year, you can assign it to different contractors or people within your organization which are supposed to work on those. From their assignment, it can go to completion. From completion, when the tasks are done, you also have capabilities to do post-trim audits after the trimming activity is done. And you have the whole suite of web applications and mobile applications which can be taken in field to accomplish all this. So the key insights which can be derived from the systems are multifold. You can look at how to improve your wildfire mitigation strategy. Essentially, you look at how you reduce power outages while reducing your cost. You can look at how to manage a disaster and disruption kind of situation better, and you enable better control and compliance, right? So we have a whole suite of products and functionality which enables all that. And I also like to highlight the outcome of this. So there's a case study which is available on our website as well, with a live customer where we were able to reduce the O&M cost by 20% and was able to improve the system reliability by 15%. Which came to a couple of millions of dollars, and that was accomplished within the first year itself. So again, emphasizing a couple of key highlights from that workflow of what we enable from the AI-IBMS product suite. So you get basically essentially a 360-degree view of your entire network. And the workflow, the way it works is often what we have seen is the GIS data of utility may not be 100% accurate. So in that case, even if you just run the models, it may not give you the right accuracy. So we have internal models which can actually take the data and correct them. Once those models are the GIS data is corrected, you run different kind of models, as you mentioned, the models which detect clearance, both horizontal and vertical, at a large scale. We can, with the different kind of satellite imagery, we have the ability to detect hazard trees, where the health are declining or where there's a potential it might fail. We also look at optimizing the trim cycle by calculating the growth rate of vegetation on the actual lines. There are different kind of data which we fuse with satellites. So this is just an example of a couple of things. For example, the customer count, the customers impacted, last trim date, regulations penalty. So all these kind of different attributes from vegetation, environmental, enterprise perspective are all fed in the models, and the outputs can be configured based on your business logic and whatever is priority for you. And to highlight specifically around hazard tree management and the need for it. So if you look at the recent statistics from NERC outage report, 96% vegetation related power on transmission lines were caused by vegetation which actually fell from outside right of way, which are the hazard trees. And also to signify the importance of disasters, they are increasing on the time. These are just the timeline of not disaster over the last few years, but these are all the disasters which happened over the course of last year itself. We had Hurricane Laura, Hurricane Delta, a bunch of wildfires. So with all this, so 2020 basically was one of the busiest hurricane season. So given all this, there is a need for a product like IVMS, which can enable post-disaster management kind of use cases. So the way it works is post-disaster, you can look at doing a survey of the damage cost. You can look at pre and post images, figure out the tasks for that, and assign the contractors and track progress very quickly. So now deep diving a bit around the IVMS product itself. So let me start with a short video. So IVMS basically is a patent pending product from AI-Dash. Let me just fast forward a few bits here. Yeah, so we use a combination of AI models to create digital twin of power lines. So as you can see, we are looking at both inside and outside ROW and both horizontal and vertical clearances. We also look at historical data to calculate growth rates. The AI models can figure out the height, the clearance, high-risk area, both on horizontal and vertical clearance perspective. So what are the key features you get from vegetation management? So essentially, what you can do using vegetation IVMS is you can optimize the trim cycles, which you might have currently. You can do that at the feeder level, where you can do the complete cycle trim analysis. So you get input from the AI models, and then you can perform analysis based on that. You can create cycle trim plans where you can select which regions you want to plan for, which is the years you want to plan it for. You can have different constraints and the priority orders, and based on that you can create the plans, and you have ability to execute not only at the feeder or circuit level, but you can even execute vegetation management at segment or the span level. And once the plan is created, you can create tasks and assign it to different contractors. You also have ability to manage the hazard trees, where you can zoom in an action and create clusters of hazard trees to work on. You have abilities to support herbicide and tree growth regulator kind of workflows. And then there is a mechanism to create work orders to manage the contractors. And like I mentioned earlier, we have app which supervisor can use to create, assign, and prioritize the task. So moving on. So to summarize, so AI-Dash IVMS has all these different modules. So we have a module around land clearance, which can be used to do cycle trim planning, or if your cycles are larger and you want more optimization, we also give capability to do mid-cycle trims. We have abilities to do post-trim audits automatically. The hazard trees, both outside and inside ROWs, can be detected and the actions planned against them. There are modules around remote management for both distribution and transmission lines. There is a module around work management where you can manage contractors, you can assign them work orders, you can prioritize and schedule them. Given the budget for quarter, for a year, you can allocate and optimize, and you can also manage the contractor spend. And then there are modules for herbicides, growth regulators, and disasters and reception management. In terms of benefits, like I mentioned earlier, we have seen reliability improving by more than 15% and the budget reducing by 20%. The technology is based on satellite imagery and AI. We come with both SaaS and perpetual license, and the deployment can be on a cloud or on-premise. And again, just to highlight these different breakups, so you have the ability to optimize cycle trim and clearance activities pretty much in advance. You can perform the cycle trim analysis at the feeder level. Based on that analysis done, you can create your plans. When you're executing, you can go to feeder, segment, or even span levels. You have ability to manage the danger tree or hazard tree. We zoomed in actions for the trees. You have ability to do work planning and also for herbicide and tree growth regulation. So essentially what happens with all this is you get streamlined plant trimming cycles, as well as you can objectively identify risk and reliability impacts based on your business roles at any spot. What it also means is you have an automated capability to engage your field force. You can prioritize what work they should be doing. You can do different kind of assignments. You can see all that in different dashboards. So essentially what that means is through a combination of web and mobile applications, so your whole workflow is optimized. You can actually work from your office, and while all this work is happening outside in the field, and you can manage them through the suite of web and mobile applications. Post-trim inspection also we have seen is an important requirement. If you look at it, 77% of utility arborist work hours are actually done by outsourced contractors. So given this, the need for post-trim inspection becomes high. So we have ability using satellite imagery. We look at pre-trim and post-trim and give different statistics on remote audits, so that can also be done remotely. Yeah, from there on, I'll hand over to Nitin to deep dive into certain specific applications of satellite technology and AI.
Thanks, Rahul. So in this part, we will be covering a few of the satellite technology and the algorithms which are the part of IBMS. The first one is basically the digital elevation model. Basically, we use multiple mono or stereo satellite images taken from two different angles to create a digital elevation model. This model, which is being used for basically, it is improving the model accuracy. So it helps in basically improving the vertical clearances, as well as also helps in identifying the high risk area. Yeah, so this video will basically show you how the digital elevation model looks like and how we are using it. So this is the output of the digital elevation model, in which different colors represent different height of an object in the world coordinates. So for example, the pink color is basically representing the ground, and the other than pink colors are representing different heights in the world coordinate system. So for example, the trees are represented by green or blue pixels, and yeah, the pink is the ground is represented by pink pixels. So this way we can see there's a 3D view of the entire network. So here is a power line, and basically using digital elevation model, we can identify small shrubs, big trees, non-vegetation. So here we are basically referring to a small shrub, line of small shrubs or a small trees, and we can also identify from Google satellite images. So it was clearly visible in the digital elevation model. Those were the series of the small shrubs, and it is clearly visible in the street view images. This is a series of the small trees or shrubs. So in this way, basically, we can, without using any other data, we can directly use them and estimate the height of the vegetation very accurately. This is here is another example in which we will basically look at and identify a large tree. So here the mouse, where the mouse is basically pointing, is representing a large tree in which a set of black pixels. And if you go directly in the street view, we can see what's the status of this vegetation. So yeah, so this is the same thing in the street view. So the same tree which was visible in the digital elevation model is the is the large tree. This is the tree which is visible in this frame is a large tree, and it was clearly visible in the digital elevation model. So yeah, so using digital elevation model, we can very accurately predict the large tree and the small shrubs, and we can clearly extract or estimate the height of the vegetation. So this is being used for definitely estimating the clearance of a vegetation from the wire itself. And this is in the next video. Yeah, next video. And in the next in this video, basically we'll tell you how we are using digital elevation model to basically estimate the high risk area. So this is the different view of a digital elevation model representation, in which this is a 3D walk, and using this thing we can very well identify high risk area represented by dark these red points. So these are the red points, which is basically a high risk area. High risk in terms of whether the tree is very near to the wire, is about to touch the wire vertically or horizontally, or basically using our AI technology, we can also look at whether tree is hazardous or not, and if some extreme events happen, it will fall on the wire itself. So using the digital elevation model, we can very well accurately predict the vertical and the horizontal clearances, as well as accurately predict the height of the vegetation, and then basically accurately mark the zones of high risk zones and all. So these are different identification of the high risk areas. Yeah. So this is another algorithm, which is basically an super resolution model. Super resolution basically help is when there is a very low resolution satellite imagery is only available. We want to basically enhance the quality of the image to a very high resolution satellite imagery. For example, this is a low resolution satellite imagery. If you look at it, there's hardly anything visible. Boundaries are not very clear. Where are the trees? Where are the houses? Where are the objects and all? So if we basically run our deep learning super resolution model, which we have trained, so by passing this image to the super resolution image, we can see the it enhances the quality of the image. So in the in the super resolution or the high quality image, we could easily identify where are the trees, where are the houses, where are different objects, and their sharp boundaries. So definitely this helps in two ways. One is basically enhancing the quality of the image from low resolution to high resolution, and it also fills the gap when there is only a low resolution imageries are available and we want to do an analysis. So we can use a low resolution imagery, and then we can convert from low resolution to high resolution. In this way, basically it helps in definitely improving the accuracy of the model to a greater extent. This is another example in which it is hardly visible where are the houses, where is the vegetation. But if we basically pass through a super resolution model, so we can basically very well identify where are the houses, where are the buildings, what the region of the vegetation and all those things. So yeah, definitely this super resolution model enhance the accuracy of the model to a greater extent.
Thank you so much, Rahul and Nintin. Great presentation today. It's great to see what AI Dash is doing for the industry. There's a lot of great work, and I love the video demonstrations. As a reminder, the discussion forum is open for questions. Our speakers will be monitoring and responding to questions on a regular basis. Please do take a moment to fill out the evaluation by clicking the evaluation button that appears underneath the presentation window. On behalf of Utility Analytics Institute and AI Dash, thanks for joining us today. This concludes our presentation.